Hi, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Rob Angel. Now, Rob Angel is the creator of a game that, if you haven't heard of it, you're probably living under a rock, Pictionary. So, Rob, I want to welcome you to the show, and I'm really excited to talk about this game because as we go along, I'll tell you how I play Pictionary and how bad I am. But
everybody makes up their own rules.
Yeah, really, you kind of have to because, not everybody's as good as others. So.
That's the fun of it.
Well, I want to thank you for creating that game because what it did in my household really is it brought together some alliances that it was kind of funny because my two sisters, I was just going to this before I ask you how you created it. So two sisters, they're like connected with the brain,
Right.
One could literally draw a line and the other one would guess what it is. So they formed a great alliance. But what that did for the rest of the family was like, you guys can't be on a team ever again, But it was fun. It was like we really, literally, that game we played for years in my family as we were growing up. And even as adults, we would play the game. And so thank you so much for creating it. So let's talk about it. Like, how did the idea even come about?
It was an activity, a party game. I moved in with three buddies after college, and we just started sketching words out of the dictionary and would stay up all night. It was like we'd have a blast. We all raided tables. I was a waiter, and we stayed up till 3, 4 in the morning sketching, laughing, giggling. And I would say, hey, this would make a good board game. And the joke became in the morning, I remembered, and they didn't.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I started working on it from that.
Well, now, were you inebriated while you were playing the game?
Well, there might have been a few beers involved. We were waiting table. I was 24, 23 at the time, so yes, there was beer.
Well, yeah, because so many. I'm not a proponent of drinking alcohol. Like, don't drink and drive. Okay, so, but anyway, so many great ideas really do come out of a different state of mind. I want to say because, when we're drinking, or like a lot of songs have come out of the darkest of times when people were going through such misery, and they were taking, either whether it was recreational drugs or taking medicine from the doctor. Their state of mind is altered, and it really opens up a creativity in us. And you guys are like giggling and you're like, wait a minute, that was good.
That was good.
I'm going to create a game out of it. Well, how do you think?
But that's to your point. That was a big concern. Is when a big fear is like, when I sober up, is it still going to be fun?
Right. And it was.
And it was the first play test. To test the game to see if anybody liked it without, as you say, beer and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Was terrifying. It was the biggest moment ever because I'm sitting here. What if it isn't as fun as I remember? What if you have to drink beer to enjoy Pictionary?
Because some things are that way, right?
Well, it doesn't hurt.
It's not funny anymore because I'm sober,
Yeah, well, there's other things.
Yeah. Well, no, let me ask you that then. So you did so you guys played around. The next day, you're like, you know what? That was really good. I think we're on to something here. So what's the next day? What's that process?
Well, it was slow. I wrote some rules and started playing around with it. But I knew the only thing people would buy were the words. Nobody wants to get a dictionary like we did. Nobody wants to just kind of think of words because some work, some don't. So I couldn't figure that out. I couldn't figure out how to put the words into a game. So I put it away for about 2.5 years. I just kind of thought about it, and then I went to Europe and backpacked and all these things. Mm-hmm. And then as I was unpacking, when I moved to Seattle about 2.5 years later, I came across these rules. And I thought, I'm pointing down at the pad that I remember. And so I saw Trivial Pursuit. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you said you came across these rules. Were they rules of different games that you were looking at?
No, it's just all Pictionary, just how I thought it might work, and it was.
You just imagined these rules.
Just imagine a game.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess, and I still have the notepad somewhere. Just here's how it could play, and it was half charades, half regular, and it was a yellow legal tablet, and I didn't know what to do. So when I got to Seattle, I found Trivial Pursuit, and I saw the card, and I saw, oh. You can write the words on a card. And that was my aha moment. So my first step was what I call low-hanging fruit. It was the easiest step I could do.
Uh-huh.
I went in the backyard with a $2.85 dictionary. I started making the word list.
Oh my God.
I know, right? I read every word.
So did you literally read every word in the dictionary?
I did, to get the best word list possible, because I knew that's where the money was. That's where the game was.
Wow. So it wasn't like, I'll take that one. Not pointing at a word and deciding. You actually went through. So what was your decision making? Was it based on the definition, or like, how did you decide which ones were going to be the ones to be in the game?
Well, I knew that I wanted to be an inclusive game. I didn't want it. Trivial Pursuit was, whoever's smarter wins. But I wanted the 10-year-old to be able to play with the 90-year-old. So my two criteria were, what was one, and the most important, I had to know what the word was.
Okay.
I got relative intelligence, and I figure if I know what the word is, most people would as well. So I threw it away. I threw it out. Then the other one was it had to create a picture in my mind quickly. I'm not something I could draw. Could be impossible to draw. But if I did that, those two things called it down. So of the roughly 60,000 words, I had 6,000 usable words. That's it.
That's a lot, though.
Well, 6,000, that's 1% of the dictionary, basically, made it into the game.
But the game doesn't have 6,000 words, though, does
well,
it?
It has 2,500.
Okay.
And so I had spare words for a second edition, which fortunately we needed. So yeah, exactly. The optimist.
Yeah. So then, so you're out there. You're going through the entire dictionary. First of all, how long did that take?
Months. So I kept doing other things as well. It's like I'd be in the backyard for an hour at a time. It's 2 hours, but it took a long time.
Okay. So you're going through. You're creating your word list. You get your word list done. What's your next step?
After the word list, it's getting partners. My brilliance, as they say, is I know my limitations, right? I know what my skill set is. I know, what I need to make this company go. And so I, as I say, collected two very important pieces to the puzzle. Two guys that complemented my skill set. We all worked beautifully together as a team. And I asked a couple of other people to join, and they said no. So fortunately.
Well, let me ask you about that. So you're going through that process. Was there any fear related to like finding the people who would be the good partners, relating to maybe, what if this doesn't work out? What if I pick the wrong people? Did any of that stuff enter?
Yeah, but mostly it was, I kind of know what I needed. And so I kind of used my intuition. When I met somebody, I knew they were the right person, particularly the graphic artist, which is my first partner. But I looking back, I had faith that I would get what I needed. I mean, it's one of those, I didn't know it at the time, but now that I've kind of analyzed the whole process, it was that the pieces came together, or would come together. And when like I said, I asked two gentlemen to join me. They both said no. I wasn't upset. I didn't go, oh my goodness. It's because...
quitting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to go home, take my dictionary and go home. Exactly. But when I did meet the right guy, I knew. There was just zero question in my mind that he was the right guy, and I was right.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because one thing, the word fear, they have the acronym is face everything and run, or false evidence appearing real. I came up with my own, and it actually relates exactly to what you just said, and that is faith erases anxious reactions. So I believe that when you have faith in what you're doing, fear doesn't enter, or if it does, it's a fleeting. It's just like kind of flies by, because your faith is so strong that what you were doing, like you knew you had something. And so you're like, I got to find the partners. You're so focused on finding those partners that how can fear enter, because you're so focused. And I think that's a really, really important piece of the puzzle. So now you've found your partners, and then what was your next step?
Well, then we had to put a game together. We had to get financing, which we did. It was a $35,000 investment.
Okay.
To start Pictionary. Yeah, I know, right?
Awesome. I love it. And there was no internet back then, right? There might have been internet, but not, it was not a household thing for sure.
No, there's no
AOL
internet.
dial-up
There
or
was
something.
no, we couldn't go to the internet or wherever to find how to produce 1,000 games. We produced 1,000 was our department.
Okay.
1,000 games. There was no internet for anything for financing. There was no VCs. There was no Kickstarter. It was like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
okay, how do we do this? So every day was an adventure. We said there was no manual. So we created our own. And as I say, I love the expression, break all the rules. Well, we didn't know what the rules were. We had no idea there was a rule book. We just kind of did what we thought was right.
So you're creating your own rules, which sometimes that's better, right? Because you're not in that box. And so you're like, okay, we don't even know if there are any rules, let alone what they are. So, just make it up as you go and figure it out. And boy, did you hit a home run.
Yes, we did.
Well, so now you got
you don't follow the rules, but to that point though, if you find mentors and people that have done it before, it doesn't mean you can't ignore everything, right?
Right.
So you still kind of have, there were certain things that would just work and we followed. But if it didn't work for us, then we went. So you can go your own way, but you also have to, sometimes you have to pay attention.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you have to pay attention to what outcomes you're getting too along the way. Like that didn't work, this works. Okay, so now you've got your financing, you've got your game created.
Yeah.
And you got your packaging done at that point, I assume?
Yeah, so we again, no internet. So we had to call out of the phone book. I knew I needed boxes. So I looked under the yellow pages. I don't know if anybody knows what those are anymore.
I know, right?
Yeah, right. They're not online. And it was this big thing. And I'd pull it open and I'd say boxes. And I'd find a box maker. And I found a board game maker. And we had a friend that helped with that. But pencils at Walmart. I mean, they didn't have a Costco close by. So we had 9 different companies supplying us with parts, all shipped to my apartment.
Okay.
I know, right?
1,000 of each thing?
Yeah. So 1,000 pencils, cubes, dice. I mean, I couldn't go to the bathroom without tripping on something.
Okay.
It's like a war zone. I'm like trying to cook and I can't get to the kitchen and boxes are piling. It was a blast. I loved it.
Of course. I mean, you were really fully immersed in this, by going through the dictionary for so long. And you spent a lot of time and energy and, mind power. I imagine that you were just living the Pictionary life at that point.
Yeah, it was a 24/7 deal. It was like very, cliche startup mode, but that's what we were doing. And, friends jokingly said they didn't see me for 2 years. I don't remember that. I remember having a ball. I remember waiting to read something. I don't remember that. Yeah, no, it was 24/7. I take time every now and again to collect myself. I call it to put myself on timeout. I take a half a day here and there, or I just sit and watch TV and do nothing. I mean, you got to take care of yourself. And again, this is kind of I learned it as I went, so you don't suffer burnout, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's take some deep breaths. Now that I got it all down, I didn't, but meditate, do something, go to the gym. You got to take care of yourself physically and mentally, which helps you in your journey and in your product.
I went for a walk this morning. Boom, boom.
Huh?
I went for a walk this morning. So
it takes 10 minutes, an hour, whatever.
Right.
The business is not going to fall apart if you're gone for 20 minutes. Whatever you're doing, it's okay.
Right. And it might become stronger because you give your brain a break out of like what you're doing and then just stretch it a little bit. Yeah. So now you're tripping over boxes, you're tripping over all kinds of stuff. Then you're piling the boxes, putting them together, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. The one problem we had was collating the cards. So the printer goofed. So we had 1,000 games, 500 cards, which is 500,000 game cards. They were supposed to come from the printer. Game 1, 500 cards. Game 2, game 3. They came card 1, 1,000. Card 2, 1,000. So we had to hand collate the cards.
1,000 sets.
1,000 sets. So I moved all the furniture out of my apartment into the bedroom, which, as I joke, I didn't own anything. Set up 8-foot tables, shoe boxes from Nordstrom's, in 6 days, hand collated 500,000 game cards.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy. Got it done.
Yeah, you just do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your next step then? Now you've got them together. You have to go sell them somewhere.
Oh,
Time to sell.
yep. There you are.
Okay, so now it's time to sell them. So, right? I mean, at that point, now you're ready to
Yeah.
sell them?
That's where the fun part for me
Oh, really?
starts. Oh, it gets more fun. That's all. It was all just a blast. It was an adventure. Every day was an adventure. You'd kind of wake up and look around and say, what am I going to do now? But when we got the games together, I had to go sell the games. So my philosophy was, if you sold anything, you might as well sell Pictionary. I didn't know I couldn't only go to game stores. There's only like 3. Because the big box, KB Toys. Am I clicking in and out?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. And so I would literally walk down the street sometimes, find a retail outlet, go in, bookstores, toy stores, game stores, department stores, furniture stores. I went to a real estate company, and I figured, family values. If you're going to sell a house, you might as well have a Pictionary game on the counter when I get there. And
I love it.
So we had alternative distribution was our mantra. So yeah, I would go anywhere. We were the first company, when you see, Barnes and Noble and Walden Books at the time, we started that. They didn't sell games before Pictionary. So we started all that. And that was kind of the impetus, one of the impetuses.
That's cool. And that's just because you didn't know what not to do, like what people don't normally do. So you just did it all. Just put yourself.
We did everything. And it was just time. I mean, it wasn't that complicated. Well, it wasn't always easy, but it wasn't that complicated. We literally just had time and energy and excitement, and okay, that didn't work. Okay, let's do the next store.
That's so fun. I love it. I love it. So how long did it take you to sell the first 1,000 of them?
We launched May 30th, 1985. And by July, we're already running out of games. We thought if we sold 700 that first year, we'd be a success.
Oh my
God. By July, that was our benchmark. that was our goal. And so July rolls around and we're running out of games. Well, then we had our big break. I went to Nordstrom's, again, no game department, and convinced them, and I was like offering the moon and the stars. They took 12 games for the 6 stores she has. Linda was her name. And now we're out of games. What do we do now? And so we went back to our investor and then ordered 10,000. But by then we could have them printed together as one unit and shipped to us.
Right. Instead of collating them all in your house, yeah.
Yes, our manufacturing costs went from $22. We sold them for $15, so we lost $7 a game on those first 1,000. Wow. We had to compete though. If we had tried to make a profit, we would have sold them for, let's say, 25. It would have retailed for 50, which is probably $150 back in those days.
That's true.
We had to take the loss. Then we got it to $8.60 at the 10,000.
Okay, well that's, man. So what's the next step after that then? Because then you buy 10,000, you sell those obviously. Then what was the next? 100,000, you sell those, and then how many have been sold? Do you know? To date?
Well, when we owned it for the 17 years, 38 million worldwide. Yeah. So from my little apartment, so the end of 1985, we'd sold 8,600 games. So part of the 10,000.
Okay.
But we do demonstrations, and we were the talk of the town. So by the time February, March rolled around, and Hasbro, Mattel, and everybody else came to restock, Risk, and all the rest of it. All they needed was Pictionary. So they all called us at the same time. We couldn't afford to keep up with demand. So it went from the 10,000, then ordered 20,000, but that wasn't keeping up with demand. And so we had to license, was our only way forward. Because if we had kept going 20 and 30,000, again, no VC companies, somebody would have beat us to the punch. Trivial Pursuit was going down. The world decided Pictionary. And so we licensed. So the big companies came to us, and we finally did a a deal, and they did. They guess nationwide in like a day.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was crazy times. We went from 8,600 games out of my apartment to 350,000 games the next year. And that was just getting all the systems in place by the time we licensed. Then 3 million. That's just in the United States. And then 11 million our fourth year. And by then we were already in 15 countries.
So now, yeah, so this is all happening, and like, what's going through your mind? Like, are you like, I didn't think it was going to be this big. Or
No.
what's going through your mind? Did you just always know it was going to be an absolute winner worldwide?
No. My original intention was to create a fun board game. I didn't look too far into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have this grandiose plan. I didn't have, this great business plan. It was, I want to create a game that people will have as much fun as I did. And when they did, I knew everything else would happen. So once we put the game together, then the other dreams and the other ideas started flowing. And then it became obvious we were going to be pretty big. But that wasn't the original plan. It wasn't the original plan.
So that goes along with the saying, they say, follow your passion and the money will follow. And like, that's really what you did. Your passion was to put a fun game in the hands of people. And boy, did you. You put it in
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But I'll follow that up with follow your passion. But that's the catalyst to me. That gives you the idea. That's like, okay, I like this idea. Here's my aha moment, my passion for Pictionary, whatever. That gets you going. But you've got to love it in your business and your partners and everything else, because passion fades. It just does. I mean, there was days when I'd be doing 12 hours, 14 hours of demonstrations at the bottom of the escalator, sell 5 games at Nordstrom's, sell 5 games, then go back to the shipping and marketing and doing all the other stuff. So I get 3 or 4 hours sleep a night. There's times I lost my passion. I was exhausted. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I just say, tomorrow. Yeah. But I loved what I was doing, and that got me up, and that reignited the passion. So you can't just have passion, because as my son said, follow your dreams. He goes, Dad, how many times have you had the same dream 2 nights in a row?
Good one.
I kind of make, I'm looking at him. He's like, I go, why'd you get so smart? But he's right. He's right. So you've got to love everything, not just your product or your idea. You got to love your partners, what you're doing, you're creating. And
like
that carries for me.
Right? Yeah, like the reason they get up every morning. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is so much fun. You were, having just so much fun, having a blast. And why would you not want to get up the next morning and just do it all over again and just have so much fun?
And do it all over. I like that. Do it all over again. Every day was a new everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing life all over again, right? On a daily basis. Not even happens. I mean,
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I like that.
Literally, you're doing that, right? Every day you're getting up, something's different. And so I love change. I love things being different. And so I'm always looking for what can be different about today than yesterday and better. Yeah. How can I make today better than yesterday? Like, that's my thing, is how can I make today better than yesterday? And man, I just love this story. So I'm actually Pictionarying in my mind. I'm picturing just the process. Like, I can see your apartment with, just filled with boxes, and I can just see the craziness. Like, what the heck? Did we just sell that many that fast? Like, we had this goal of 700. We sold 1,000 in 2 months.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's going on with the game now? And now you sold it?
Yeah, we sold it in 2001. So owned it for 17 years.
Okay.
We just kept relicensing in different countries. And then in 2001, we sold it to Mattel. We were in 60 countries, 45 languages. We had 11 different versions of Pictionary over the years. Mm-hmm. And it was just an amazing ride. I mean, we created something, my partners and I, that just changed people's lives. I mean, again, my intention was to create a fun board game. But in reality, everybody's got a Pictionary story. Everybody has some favorite moment, the psychology of it. It was this team game, this camaraderie, this community. And everybody's got a Pictionary story, and I call it cosmic gravy. Like,
I shared mine at the beginning, right?
You did. You absolutely did. So
That was the
yeah,
first
so,
thing. Yeah, because there is a story. There's more stories with it, of course. And like, first of all, I can barely draw a straight line. And that's one of my jokes is because I would always come up and try to do stick figures because I don't draw. And then,
stick figures are the way to go.
yeah, but I did it. I did it. It was a lot of fun. And, maybe I'm not the best, but that's the whole idea of that game is, in my mind, is it was, you wanted to bring people together and just have a good time. And that it really did
Yeah,
its purpose, and it's still doing it. It's still doing it today.
yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for Rob Angel?
I get that a lot. Well, I've been blessed. So for the last, since we sold, got to raise my kids, nonprofits, just been having a ball. I mean,
Mm.
giving back to the community. But now it's next chapter. I'm writing a book on my experience. I want to share. I want talking, lecturing, speaking, not lecturing. But yeah, I just want to inspire other people. I mean, I was a waiter, and all this happened, right? So as I say, I was a normal guy, and I made it happen. And so if I can do it, so can you. So can anybody.
And there's the point there. Like, I'm a normal guy, and I made it happen. So a lot of times people have ideas, like you guys were having fun that night, right? You're having fun. You woke up in the morning. Those guys forgot about it, and you didn't.
Yeah.
And so you took action on it. Did those guys become your partners or no?
No. But no. Well, they had the same skill set as I did. And I knew that it wouldn't work. And not because of them, but because of me. I mean, I needed something different. But we're all still, great friends. We all still hang out, travel together. There's no hard feelings. It just is what it was.
Okay, so here you were getting started and everything. Yeah. Did you have any thoughts like how far it would go and what kind of impact it might make?
I didn't. In fact, I thought about this, that if I was 24, I have this great idea, I'm trying it, but if I had thought at 24, all the steps necessary to get to this 38 million games, I probably wouldn't have started. It would have been daunting, it would have been overwhelming, all the moving parts, all the different things. So I kept it in my, brain, I kept it small, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, until it was time to really grow. And that worked for us, for me and my partners. I took the little bits and pieces, relished the little victories, as they say, and then kept one foot in front of the other. That's what worked.
That's an interesting concept because, Grant Cardone, he wrote a book called 10X, where you're supposed to, whatever number you come up with, you're supposed to 10X it so that your brain can think there. But now you still thought big because 1,000 games, from 0 to 1,000 games, is still a big number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, it took 14 months. It wasn't like it just happened by itself. There was a lot of work involved.
So you could say you were 10Xing way back then before it was even a thing.
Literally. Yeah. That's as far as I went. The 20 was going to bother me. But yeah, it was a great process.
Well, fantastic. I just love that. Thank you for sharing that, because that helps people to see that thinking big is okay, but make sure you ground yourself back to where you need to start, because you need to start somewhere.
You need to start backyard with a dictionary. It cost me $2.85 and time, and I had plenty of both. I had time. So
$2.85 for a dictionary.
Yeah, it was great.
So you have the drawings and everything, or like the word list you had. You still have a lot of that stuff from the original stuff.
I do. I found the original legal pads that I wrote the word list on. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
That's so cool. I wonder if Mattel will take that and put that in their library of history, their history or something, or are you allowed to use that? I think that's amazing. I would love to see you auction that off at a charity.
I'd rather be in a Smithsonian, but we'll see what happens.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's really, the game is amazing. And well, Rob, I want to again thank you so much, and thanks for finding your brilliance in the world and sharing it, and keep doing it. I'm looking forward to seeing you really soon.
I appreciate it, Lynn. I was blessed.